That's right, troopers and grinders. It's Carlos PRATES Fight Week, motherfuckers. With Hank the Tank and the Idaho Skatesman. We are ready to mock this whole MMA weekend like it's a cigarette. And somebody got a lighter? Does anybody have a lighter? Please. I brought the pack. Fuck! But yeah, PRATES Fight Week. It's going to be fun. We're going to mock some cigarettes, and it's going to be a good time. And I'd say the undercard, especially the prelims of the UFC Fight Night card, are actually really solid, depending on, you got to be in the know for some of these guys. But there's some good matchups early, and then main cards, I don't like the bookings. So maybe that's just me. Maybe it's still going to be fun, but solid all around. And then, of course, we got 169, and despite the number being nice, it's got its shenanigans recently, so probably not going to be that great of a time. But what do you think about the MMA weekend overall, Skatesman?
Well, there's lots of shows, so I have high hopes for it. As far as one goes, we'll get into it, but you know that one Friday Fights tomorrow morning is going to be exponentially better than whatever the numbered event will be. That seems to be like how it always goes.
Yeah.
Obviously, they stack the American cards really good, but for some reason, those numbered cards just suck ass all the time. So, and there's like not a lot of fights on the card either.
Yeah,
I think that it'll
MMA in there that sort of stinks up the joint, and then
exactly
Muay Thai is as stacked up as it usually is.
Well, that's the thing is, I think that they're having
grappling too.
Well, they're having two events at Lumpini in the same day.
Yeah.
So they kind of make sense, like all the bigger names, but
right.
But yeah, yeah, I know. I have high hopes for it.
That's good. Well, I'm glad you got high hopes for it. We'll see if those hopes are dashed. They often are under the Shatri tree, but hey, 168 was pretty freaking good. It was in America, so got a viewer discretion advised. This one is going to be in Lumpini, but let's hope that it's like a UFC Fight Night card in the Apex, the good one. That's like, I'm not so sure. Oh my God, it's the greatest card of the year. Let's see what happens. But speaking of a surprise, Hank the Tank fucking swept the first card for his locks and underdogs for the MMA weekend with Invicta FC 58. Starting with my lock, Magdalena Saban. I had her by round 1 sub, just because she is excellent on the ground. She beat a 5-2 opponent, beat a 3-0 opponent, and Jessica Hope Holmes, I thought she didn't have any hope going into this fight, and it ended up being the case. I did have her by round 1 submission the Hank Tank way, but I should have went with the old Hank Tank way and found the submission in round 2. But it is what it is. Still whooped her ass. So that was pretty cool. And then my underdog, Zarina Turi, taking on Joy Pendel. It was either going to be a Joy Pendel knockout or a Zarina Turi decision. And what do you know? Hank the Tank got the decision perfect. And Activate A also had Turi as an underdog, and that one cashed. So I did.
Yeah, shout out to Activate A. He knows his shit when it comes to regional MMA.
Yeah. So I had the Activate A good luck charm on my side for this underdog, and it paid off. And meanwhile, I'd watched none of the rest of this card because it's Invicta. But Hank Tank got that lock and underdog perfect, and I'm very happy about it. So hopefully that gives me a bit of good luck going into my next set of locks and underdogs for, I believe it's LFA 196, and then I got OKTAGON in Germany. But let's say hello to the people we got here in the skate.
Yeah, I got a lot of comments.
Yeah. Hey, girl, how's it going? What's up, guys? Good old Sean Moody. He also said fuck you. Yeah, I'm got potty mouth from the fucking chat. Hello, Amberly Rose is here. Yay!
Good to see Amberly.
Get Amberly here. It's nice that she's here. Good start time probably for a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't be watching. Hi, Idaho. Hola, Hank, and hello, Sean. That's right. I'm part Mexican. I'm the Mexican of the two of us. Hi, Amberly Skate. You get tucked in by Dane the other night. He's on to you.
Yes, this is Degenerate Dane's extra room here in lovely Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. So. Yep, a little bit of road tripping going on. So
Raiders, and then Kobe Wiggle is here at the very start, but he doesn't show up until way later. What is up, chummy boy? Hey, girl.
Good to see you, chummy boy.
it might be a bad thing that we have Amberly Rose here because 80% of the messages are hi, hey, how's it going? Hey, you
No, it's perfect.
hi, you get a hi.
It's perfect for the algorithm.
All right, hey girl, hi chummy boy. Keep doing it, hey girl. Keep spamming us with highs for people. We'll get some new people in here eventually, and you could say hi to 17 people. Rodtang missed weight. He's gonna cry again. Yes, because it's in Asia. He is
Fuck.
definitely going to cry again.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
All the Rodtang fanboys in the ONE FC's YouTube chats are gonna be. They're not gonna be crying. They're gonna be like, "I'm here for Rodtang. Rodtang, where is he? Rodtang, I want to see Rodtang." They're going to be just as passionate, much like another base that's in America.
Did I gamble? Yes, I played some Keno last night and some video poker. I did not do well.
Yeah. How dare he gamble with free money? That is a cardinal sin right there. Tell Dane hello from Peoria, Illinois. Sean,
all right, I'll tell him.
For everybody.
The first thing I do after I get off this.
Good old hey, Amberly Rose. It's nice to have Hey Girl and Amberly Rose. We got some women here finally give some fucking mental clarity to the situation. Here she is, Amberly. That's right, brother. Get a little bit of English class would do him good, but he's got the spirit.
He's Danish. What do you want him to do?
That's right. He needs to put an R and start rolling that shit for vowels.
He says Illinois. Chummy Boy says he wants to see a cry off. Between Rodtang and Takara.
It's happening. It's a few months out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Japan,
who do you predict would win that one?
Definitely Rodtang. Rodtang. Takara's got the fucking blonde hair, so he's gonna be in like Omega Giga Chad mode for most of that thing. And then Rodtang's gonna be like,
what does that even mean?
I injured my finger going into this fight. I thought I'd retire. I thought I'd never fight again, but I'm back and I look better than ever and I'm in prime condition. But I really thought that I was going to retire this time, guys. So, there you go. Japan is definitely upping its stock of tissue papers. That company is whoop, whoop, up, up, and up just every day that MMA goes by. I'm going to keep on going up and up with Hank the Tank's locks and underdogs. We got my big lock for LFA. You might have seen this guy before on the podcast. His name's Alik Lawrence. I've got him by first round knockout. Alik Lawrence doesn't have a nickname yet. If he ever does get one, it should be The Lock, because this guy is Mr. Reliable when it comes to first-round knockouts. He's knocked out last 5 opponents, first round. I have picked him as a lock before, and he got the fight done exactly how everyone thought he would. So why stop now? His opponent, Ryan Parker, is 6-6. Come on now. Give this guy someone with a winning record, for God's sake. He's clearly good enough for an actual challenge. Ryan Parker's last fight, he got knocked out by an 8-5 guy in a promotion I've never even heard of. Apex Predator, my ass. Orton RKO's this fool, and Alik Lawrence knocks him out in the first round. So enough said there. And then we got Hank's underdog for LFA, a very shocking one actually, but I think it's based on his Contender Series performance. I'm going with Casey Tanner by round 3 knockout. A lot of predictors online still have a lot of faith in Casey Tanner after he lost to Gene Matsumoto on Dana White's Contender Series. And maybe they're right. Matsumoto is a tricky fighter to deal with. And if Tanner's on Brad Katona's level with more submission ability, that's MMA math logic for you. He should beat whoever this guy is the LFA has lined up for him in the main event. This guy, Mikaias Urania, calls himself the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers, a.k.a. Pterodactyl. And he definitely throws a lot of flying shit, so the nickname is accurate. He high-kicked KO'd some 14-12 guy, and recently got an 11-second KO on an 8-3 Ashiek Ajim, which people don't seem to rate all that much. Other than that, he's going to competitive decisions with decent guys on the regionals, but I don't think their wrestling is on the same level as Casey Tanner's. I think Urania is going to come at Tanner like a ball of fire, no diddy. And then when he starts throwing his hands or his big kicks, Tanner is going to get him down, work him on the ground, winning at least. I thought the wife was mad at me for a second there. Winning at least one round going into the third, and then getting a crucial takedown that tires Urania out, leaves him open for a ground and pound TKO. Perhaps Tanner gets a call up to the UFC on short notice after this one. I still think there are holes in this kid's game, but there are more potential ones in Mikaias Urania's, and that will be the difference maker here. So give me Casey Tanner in the main event by round 3 KO. So that's LFA 196, and then I'll have Octagon on dial in just a little bit.
God.
We
20
have
minutes of the show is literally just regional MMA picks. Can you
yes,
imagine?
sir. Well, gets us those watch hours. And speaking of which, Idaho Skatesman, I just netted us 29 hours on Hank's Think Tank last night and got 17 people watching live. So our channel, it's blowing up, baby, because we got random ass people like Swamp Beaver.
Oh yeah, never seen him before. Good to see. Good to see him.
Nice Beaver. Thanks. I just had it stuffed. And ladies, good old Swamp Beaver. And here's the highs. Here's the highs from Amberly. Very crucial here. Damn, she even got the fucking hand emoji. That's crazy. Cute profile picture. There he is. I knew he'd come towards later on. Hello, Kobe Wiggle. Fruit salad, yummy, yummy, man. My boys. Yes, sir. We are.
What's up, CST? Good to see you.
We are his boys. He is our pimp. We do what he says. AKA the pterodactyl. Yes, sir. Pink Ranger. Oh, Jesus Christ. I hope not. You need to see a dentist if so. Skate, if you smell a funny smell, mom and dad are smoking some of those funny cigarettes. They got to be tuning in for Carlos Prates on Saturday.
Yeah,
they're gonna
their whole house smells like weed. It's awesome. I love it.
I'm gonna use that one, Hank. Nice. Well, I'm the one who bats 0.0001 on the jokes, but every once in a while it lands and I become a part of comedy history. Hello, Combat Sports. There's the high from Hey Girl. Yes, let's fucking go. More algorithm shit. Dane, hello, Amberly. Yes, more hellos, more hays. Come on, keep them coming, folks.
Hey, so I got a comedy show to go to at the Stratosphere here. I gotta leave at 7. So
I see. Well, let's quickly move on to Hank the Tank's lock for Octagon before Skatesman impatiently storms out of the room, and then it's doing his own thing. Then Degenerate Dane's in the background. What the fuck is taking you so long? Like that. And so we got Hank the Tank's lock for the card. I have Roman Paulus by round 1 submission. This chubby fuck over here on the left. I'm going with him because wait, did I do round 1? Oh, I guess it was round 1 submission. I had to go the Hank the Tank way. That's right. Roman Paulus is clearly in the upper mid-tier echelon of Octagon's bantamweight division. He's only getting beaten by undefeated prospects and any unbeaten young fighters with 5 wins or less. He's smoking. Jamba Elonin Kulmala Harris. I mean Kumala.
Wow.
Last name 5 times fast. Elonin Kumala Harris. Elonin Kumala. Is 18-12 from Finland, whose only 2 notable wins as of late have been against a 3-7 guy and a 5-3 guy. Yuck. Now he did find a submission recently, and Paulus is only getting finished by sub, but it was a fluke response triangle. Paulus is clearly talented enough on the ground to avoid that outcome. Find a quick and easy sub on this low-level journeyman. Roman's making Jamba Juice out of Johnny. Trust.
Oh my god.
Does Slovakia even have Jamba Juices? Well, there's a first for everything.
Probably.
Round 1 sub for Roman Paulus. I'm glad Skatesman agrees with me. There's got to be a Germany version of a Jamba Juice.
I'm gonna look it up.
All right, here we go. So anyway, we're using our precious time before Skatesman has to get to his comedy show to look up if there's a Jamba Juice in
Slovakia.
Slovakia, yes. There's got to be, right? Come on. Who else have we got? Gee, we got some nice comments. I'm loving these comments. Vegas, baby. Vegas. That's the fortune teller.
I know there's like 20 people in here. It's crazy.
Yes, sir. Swamp Beaver is here. What's up, motherfuckers? West Side 209. What's up? Gaz Ninja, good to see you. Combat, how's it hanging? Lots of highs and hellos, and it's sort of like that MF Doom track in Mad Villainy. How do you do? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do? Tighten it up, Hank. Most people have lives, unlike some of us. God damn it. See, this
we don't have time to break down Octagon and LFA, whatever stupid regional promotion.
We still got 16 people in here though, so maybe they like Hank's lock and Underdog, and maybe we need to start our fucking streams earlier.
Yeah,
I think that's what we need.
I've been saying that.
Dane, my aunts put us out and locked the door. We come back and find a funny cigarette. Very, very funny. Haha.
So I did find a Dr. Juice bar in Slovakia.
I told you
same thing.
It'd be a version of it, but it wouldn't be. Yeah, so there you go. What other comments do we got before I move on? Has anyone noticed that Skate with a heavy beard looks like Benoit Saint-Denis? Oh, dude, you need to see him.
They're the same person.
Yes, exactly. I'm actually surprised his face is fully recovered from all that damage from those elbows, but French Giga Chat has to come back, you know.
Healing up.
Denial is here. He's gonna grow it
Denial?
out. As soon as he stops having these encounters with all these girlfriends, he's gonna grow that thing fucking long, man.
Yeah.
That's what she said. It's that Danish shine. Yes, it is on the beard. Hi, Amberly. Hank, if Neil Magny wins, man, can I come on and have my woohoo? Yeah, shit, bro. No. Get a better camera. Get a microphone paid for by Skatesman, damn it. We loved Hank's think tank yesterday. I'm glad you loved Hank's think tank. That was all about MMA. Trust me, bro. Boys, I might drop my first exclusive breaking news soon. We'll drop it on the fucking channel, man. Drop it.
Well, yeah, no. Everybody go. If you have Twitter, go subscribe to Combat Sports Today's Twitter page. Sir. Always dropping news.
Great. Yeah. And got some fucking video clips, too, of all the action. He's a cool guy. I like him. I see a slight similarity. Yes. Only slightly. He doesn't have blood and bruises and broken bones all over. Half of MF Doom's track is a comic sample. Well, still the GOAT, though. Yes, he is.
And Cheetos, Fritos, Doritos.
Fritos, Cheetos, Doritos. He's the fucking GOAT, dude, obviously. My underdog is Ivica Trusek by round 1 submission. Battle of the Eternal Journeymen here. Robert Pukak has been losing to every mid opponent he can in Octagon by decision. Recently beat a 6-7 guy in another promotion before coming back for this fight. Ivica Terror Trusek, meanwhile, has started to rack up some wins inside and outside of Octagon with some first-round subs. So the question here is whether he gets the finish early or Pushak flukes his way to a decision win, given that Trusek's been facing a higher level of competition, while Pukak hasn't won against that quality of competition for a very long time. I think he looks sloppy in this fight and gets himself caught in an early sub, preferably the Gilly Goose Gang in round 1, Dustin Poirier hot sauce style. Now this 44-39 guy can finally terrorize the Octagon welterweight division. Oh, who am I kidding? He's a fucking can. So there you go.
Wow.
Hank the Tank's locks and underdogs for the big MMA weekend. Finally, I get to do some locks and underdogs for more than 3 shows. Regional MMA has been fucking slipping this last month. I'm not liking it. So better late than never.
It'll recover now that Contender Series is done.
Yes. We got any more comments recently?
I don't know.
Should I do the Tapology page just showing the fights, or should I show Hank's picks first?
No, do the fights, and we'll just give our picks since I can't.
All right, sounds
show my screen.
All right, excellent. Give me 1 second.
I don't think we have to go over the morning card. We don't know anybody who's fighting on that. It's going to be good, though. It'll be a banger. It always is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely the one.
Are there any notable names on there?
Doesn't matter. Right. 169 is the one to look at for sure.
Yes, for sure. Nice. Yes, 169 is good. Wait, should we go to 169 right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, let me move on.
That's going down tomorrow, so.
Yes.
What's up, Artem? I see you in the chat, man. Good to see you.
Hello, Artem MMA. Good to have you back, brother. We need to get some fucking people in. We got to do them earlier. God damn it, Hank. What is wrong with you? But here we go. Let me share my screen. Ooh,
Chubby Boy says Compet.
Baby.
Some TIE fighter on the the morning card. I'm sure it'll be a great fight. That's the thing, is like you don't really need to preview those one morning cards because every fight's basically going to be good. Yeah.
It's not going to be anything unique in a good way. But here we go. Starting off with 169. Can you tell me anything about these first 3 fights, or should I move on?
Yeah, so the first fight of note will be Eddie Abasolo. Jay from Rush Hour actually has a good interview up with him on the Combat Sports Today YouTube channel, so be sure to preview that. That'll be a banger of a fight. But really, where the card starts to really pick up is right above that. Buchecha is going to take on Amir Al-Akbari. So Amir Al-Akbari is actually the guy who retired old Arjun Bhullar, made him quit middle of the fight. He kind of quit that like the way Herbert Burns does, where he just refuses to get up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going up against Marcus Almeida or Buchecha, who actually lost his last fight to Reug Reug, shockingly by decision. So definitely interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely interesting matchup. Think about Buchecha and like he has a like Rodolfo Vieira like effect to him, where when he goes really long in a fight, he just kind of gasses. He's a massive dude, but you can see that Buchecha obviously in like a jiu-jitsu gi, and Alec Bari like in a crazy, wrestling singlet. So that's pretty much the strength of these two. I also think that
Story of the fight.
I think that Alec Bari has more power, and he's just a little bit more dangerous of a striker. Obviously, Buchecha has been working on that kind of stuff, but I am going to pick Buchecha in this one to get it done by decision. Possible submission, but yeah, I got Marcus Almeida in this one.
Nice.
You have any thoughts on that fight?
I believe I actually picked this whole fight card.
Well, you can only pick the MMA fights.
MMA, yeah, I know them. And looking here, oh no, I picked Ali Akbari by round 2 KO.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's both got some power.
And it's kind of just like I said, yeah, like he's definitely got the better hands, but I do believe that Buchecha can at least win the first 2 rounds and just have a good showing. The problem with Buchecha is he doesn't fight enough in one, and I think that's a problem with, like, you could say that about half the roster. Yeah. They just don't get enough fights. But yeah, I'm gonna ride with Buchecha in this one. So
nice.
Got our first disagreement.
Yeah, I finished my exams today. Good job, Artem MMA. Glad to hear it, brother. It's always tough around crunch time, but you got it done. That's a relief. Reug Reug is the GOAT. Well, we'll see, man. We'll see if he knocks out Mr. Balikin, then I can.
So Artem mentioning that both these guys had contract issues. That's kind of how it goes. Once they become public, then Chatri just like books them immediately, unless your name is Pon Payak. So
yeah. There you have it. And then we got fucking Sam A, baby.
Yes, Sam A. CST saying Reug Reug is the GOAT. No, Sam A is the GOAT. The guy's got like over 400 fights. Don't know who he's fighting, but doesn't matter. It's Sam A. Let's go.
Yeah, Zhang will be in Chatri jail regardless.
Got a fantastic knockout in his last fight, so excited to see him. But definitely, like, probably the most interesting thing that is happening is Cade Ruotolo making his MMA debut.
Yes, sir.
Super interesting to see this happen. He's going up against Ahmed Mujaba, who one time was brought in to make Sage Northcutt look good, and Sage Northcutt heel hooked him. So
evolved finishes, which is
yeah, that should tell you kind of where they're going with this. They want to give Cade, I think, like a soft MMA debut, and it's perfect booking. I think Mujaba is like 32, so it's really not like that soft of a layup. Just get him a fight, get him a live body in there, and let's go.
Exactly.
Hold on a second. Chummy Boy has a good insight. He says it's in kickboxing. Zhang's volume probably is going to get him the win, but I said that last time about Sam A. Look what happened. Yeah, he slept the guy. That's interesting. Yeah. So I guess Zhang is a kickboxer, so that will be interesting to see.
Yeah, and if John Lineker can be the Muay Thai GOAT of his division, I'm not going to count out Sam A. if he switches a sport. I hope he gets Deontay Wilder KO, where it's like, whoa, where am I? Just like last time.
Emily says that Sage is good. He just is fragile, I think. So many injuries. Yeah. Also Chatri jail.
Yes.
But Kong Thorny and Tagir Kalinov, 2 guys that have been having really good showings in one Muay Thai as of late. So that'll be a banger. The next fight, though, Adriano Moraes versus Danny Kingad. 2 of the guys that were like the biggest names at that division in one before DJ just kind of took it over. Yeah. Adriano Moraes is definitely going to, in my opinion, I think he's going to steamroll Danny Kingad. I don't think Danny Kingad has a hope or a prayer. Also, Danny Kingad's small for the division. Adriano Moraes kind of big for the division. So,
Moraes has also beaten him before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Expect Moraes to just obliterate him, in my opinion. Like, I'm actually picking him to knock him out.
I also have Cade Ruotolo by round 1 sub. So now we're picking
nice.
So far. And then we got, do you know either of these 2 ladies?
Buntan and Mexen. Now, I think this is because Mexen was supposed to fight Stamp I think this is a kickboxing title. Both women float between MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai.
Not available records, kickboxing.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that Mexen was supposed to fight Stamp Fairtex. They're bringing in Jackie Buntan. Again, I believe she actually does have an MMA record. But again, that's just kind of what one does. Right. They mix and match the combat sports, especially on the women's side. I mean, Mexen was originally booked to fight Stamp, so I'll probably favor her. But honestly, I don't know enough about either woman to really give you like a definitive pick on that one.
Combat Sports Today thinks that Mexen is a legend, so maybe he's favoring her to win this matchup. And Gear misses weight again, but not sure how that's going to happen. Probably catch weight. Sorry to jump back. Just
one
got off
loves
the
their catch weight.
Sorry to. Oh wait, hold on. Which one? Oh, sorry to jump
What's
back.
that?
Just got off the bike, but it's not Lady's debut. It's his second fight. Interesting. They are two of the best small female kickboxers in the game. Apparently, everybody knows who these two ladies are. Except for we gotta learn from these very intellectual MMA fans. Mexen was due for a belt.
Oh,
but they threw her up against Pajija. So yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, Pejija is really, really good. She's been knocking fools out. So
we were asking what denials.
But CST said that Koki Osaki is going to fight on the morning card. That's sick because I believe his brother currently is the Rise kickboxing champion, and I think that he's actually rumored to be moving on to one himself soon. So that's sick. I hope Koki Osaki looks good in his debut for one, and then eventually. It's so weird. This is kind of an interesting thing to talk about. Like, you see all these fighters like leaving other promotions for one in the kickboxing world, and then you also see like the kickboxers that are in one not getting enough fights and then having to leave the promotion. Super interesting. I think that the reason for that is like one is like the UFC right now of kickboxing, in that it is the biggest worldwide stage, but I would say that K1 is probably the most competitive and the one you would really want to be in, but you probably get a better check and more worldwide notoriety fighting for one. So I think once that kind of wears off, the fighters kind of realize that it's not worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze, and they go back to another promotion.
Can't have too many paychecks when you're not getting fights.
Exactly, or they keep offering you Muay Thai fights, and that's how a lot of these guys end up getting beat, in my opinion. So
yeah, got to scratch and claw your way out too once you're done. That's why it's shot to jail, man. You need a spoon for that shit. 200. It's not Cade's first MMA fight. Predictive changed Cade's the ladies. Fucking autocorrect there. But yes, he did have an MMA fight before, and it was absolutely dominant. I think there was a few times where like Cade was throwing some leg kicks and actually trying to set up a jab, but it was so that he could get the takedown. So Cade, it's not his first rodeo, but it is his second rodeo. 200 plus wins for Mexen, right? If I recall.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's a crazy amount. I think Skatesman has just found his new women's GOAT, dude, and it's a shame because Seika Izawa, she is the GOAT.
Yeah, of course.
The money is paying for one, and kickboxers are cheaper than MMA fighters.
And Muay Thai fighters are even cheaper than that.
Yeah. Hank got knocked out.
What's up, AJ? Good to see you. K1, that's actually hilarious.
It's K1. Ew, that's disgusting. I didn't even want to that. Yeah, God, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Wow, Swamp Beaver.
All right, we don't need to read all these comments.
Sure.
So anyway, the next fight will be Rodtang Jitmonyang versus Jacob Smith. Believe this might even be a rematch, if I'm not mistaken. Continuing the saga of Rodtang being the Muay Thai Tank Davis. He is giving us the fights that we don't want to see. He's not fighting anybody we want him to see him fight, but he's going to go out there, he's going to fight, and he will drop rounds to people, but he might get the KO. In the end, Rodtang's going to win. He misses weight for this fight, gets stripped of the belt again. It's just, I don't know, man. I used to really, really like Rodtang a lot. And then what happened was Superlek just kind of stole all the thunder from him, fought him, missed weight himself, beat him, and then Superlek's been carrying one, and Rodtang's just given these bullshit fights. Dennis Purich before this, facing off with Takeru, that's an anticipated fight for sure. But then now he's fighting Jacob Smith. Like, the fuck, man?
Now he doesn't even have a belt in one, right?
He might still be the Kickboxing? I really don't know. But either way, it's stupid, man. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. A lot of it has to do with the fact that one's hydration like test rules are bullshit. But at the same time, like, how are you gonna let your star like just be put in all these really dumb spots where he's fighting these bullshit ass fights that everybody knows he's gonna win? Oh wait, that's what the UFC does with John Jones.
Yep. So I guess we now know that Rodtang is the John Jones of ONE FC, except
I think he's more like the
tank
Tank Davis of
Yes, Tank Davis.
Muay Thai, but
But
that's
just a
me.
hint of John Jones, a sprinkling of John Jones on top. So there you go.
Yeah.
He's gonna
Well,
destroy
he
you.
did wear a dress one time, so maybe he's
Yeah.
more John Jones than we think he is.
Yeah.
Either way, Rodtang's going to win this fight, be it knockout, decision, doesn't matter. Rodtang's going to win. There's no hope, no prayer for Jacob Smith. I think he knows that, though, and sometimes, you get these fighters in that position where they're going to win and they fight their best, but not here. Rodtang's going to win. No question about it, in my opinion. I mean, what do you think about the antics in this fight?
I mean, I could call them half Rodtang antics, half just ONE FC's hydration test antics, always blowing up in their face and making them look less prestigious as an organization. So I think it was just all the fucking negative elements mixing together. Just calm before the fucking storm.
Stamping Rodtang drama? No. Did you hear about this?
Liam Harrison was saying that, oh, this dude always misses weight every other fight. I would beat the shit out of somebody who didn't pass the hydration test or made weight. Like, at this point, you got to be a fucking man. You got to be consistent. And he's just going off on Rodtang because it's Liam Harrison. And if he doesn't like you, he really doesn't like you. And then Stamp Fairtex reposted it on her social media. So maybe, maybe what Liam Harrison said had a little bit of truth to it.
Oh, shit.
There you go. It explains the divorce a little bit. Super Lex.
That's right.
4-belt champion incoming. Super Lex was the Rodtang we always wanted.
Look at this. This is a plaque.
Beautiful.
From the ONE event. And look, it's actually signed by Jonathan Haggerty and Super Lex.
Wow.
Super interesting.
Sucks that we can more visibly see the Haggerty signature compared to the Super Lex signature.
Well, he actually signed it in gold, and it's like on his,
yeah. Well, he got that gold
browner body, so
he got the gold
color
medal.
Contrast doesn't line up. That is kind of funny. It's a little bit of foreshadowing there.
Exactly. Stamp reposting Harrison's post shows, even his people are tired of his shit.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is people are just souring on, like I said, like Rodtang was the number one guy, and then like Super Leg's been carrying the promotion. He's the number one guy now, and people are just getting sick of Rodtang because you got to fight the people that people want to see you fight. That's what I've said for a long time about Rodtang is that he fights cans all the time, and Super Leg will fight a can. Don't get me wrong, it's Muay Thai. Like people fight cans all the time, but the difference is Super Leg fucks them up. And Rodtang just kind of cruises with them. So,
yeah. All he needs to do is start harassing people at a comedy club, and the Jones transformation will be complete. No, Super Lex was the champ in kickboxing for 135. Yeah. Rodtang is without a belt right now.
Wow.
There you go.
That's insane.
Finally came, dude. Stamp, and it's going to be Stamp, too. Stamp and Rodtang used to date, too. Yeah, we know that. Breaking news from Combat Sports Today. Skip to 170, lol. Yeah, we should. But not before we get to our fantastic main event here between Anatoly Malykhan and Umar Kane, Battle of the Giants. This is the new Ferreira and Ngannou.
God.
169. I tell you what, trust. So, who you got in this very competitive matchup, Skatesman?
Yeah, I mean, Anatoly Malykhan's going to smoke him. Round 1, round 2 submission, maybe TKO. I mean, Reug Reug doesn't have a chance with Malykhan on the ground. And on the feet, his biggest hope is that he just swings a wild punch and hurts Malykhan, which you've never really seen Malykhan hurt. Another problem with ONE is now Malykhan has literally nobody to fight. And it kind of sucks when you got a co-main and main event where you already know what the outcome is going to be. So it's just showcase fights for their two like stars of their promotion. So I just really hope this event doesn't flop because their last numbered event in Singapore was fucking terrible. So I'm just hoping they have a good show because, we need other promotions to have good shows. And I think PFL has had good shows this year. Bellator, I guess, has had shitty shows.
No
Well,
way.
I'm saying Bellator, I guess you could call it that. It's still basically PFL.
Right.
Bellator hasn't been doing hot, but PFL's been doing good. And so again, we just need other promotions to do well. So I just really hope this card does well. On paper, it should be all right, but their numbered events have just kind of been cursed as of late. So
maybe Skatesman will start investing in Hank the Tank's regional MMA just a little bit more to
no
success in Europe. But
nope.
because I was going to be in America originally, they probably don't want the upset. No, they do not. Maybe Umar Kane can practice his windmill punches just like Ketchup, hoping that lands. Sure, it'll find some success. But yeah, that's 169. I'm on. I'm agreeing with Skatesman. I just hope it doesn't flop. It usually does, though. So it is what it is. So yeah, that's all. That's all we got for major MMA outside the UFC and regional MMA. We move on to what I think is going to actually be a very underrated card when everything's said and done with UFC Fight Night, the Great.
Oh, you have Boots versus some asshole in the rundown.
Oh, yeah.
Are we going to talk about that first?
Oh yeah, I guess we can get to that. God damn it! Against a Karen, you call him an asshole. He's a Karen. So there's the difference right there. All right, let's get to it. Boots versus God, I can't even say his name. Chukhadzian. Was I even close with that?
It's like Caitlin Chukhadzian.
Yes.
Maybe it's her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, maybe she'll put De Silva at the end there just to make it even more complicated to say.
There you go.
All right, so there we go. Let's it's just a bunch of.
You don't sound enthused to talk about it. Why'd you put it in the rundown?
Because it was a major boxing event on Tapology, so why not? And I know that Skatesman is gonna probably have watched the Rush City podcast, so he knows all about this card and what it's on there. Okay, so let's fucking here we go right here. And it's got one fight that I'm interested in. Austin Williams coming back after having that great fight with Hamza Shiraz, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so Emma Williams is a fantastic boxer on the come up, so always one to watch.
Taking on some rando named Gian Garrido, so this is just a fight.
That's boxing for you.
Yeah, get Austin Williams back on the right track, as Chris Farley would put it in SNL. So that's what he's going to do. Austin Ammo, I have him as my lock. And then there's Khalil Ko against Manuel Gallegos. And Khalil Ko, I believe he is just a round 2 fucking knockout machine. Let's look at his record, actually, just to make sure. And there we go.
Oh, God.
TKO, round 1, round 2, uppercut, left hook, round 7, round 3. Unanimous decision. Last one was 2 years ago. And then it's just been nothing but power punches ever since. And he just won a championship. I'm sure a very prestigious silver, platinum.
The IBO regional, interim, intercontinental
title. Yes.
America's title.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this guy, Manuel Gallegos, he does have a lot of wins on his record, 19-2, but you can never really trust.
I mean, we don't need to break down this card in depth that much.
He got KO'd in round 4.
Who cares?
I'm going with Ko by the KO. And then we got Ray Ford taking on Orlando Gonzalez. Ray Ford, he had a close fight.
Speaking of bullshit titles, the WBA Continental Super Flyweight title. Wow.
Fantastic. It does have Ray Ford on there. And I do respect Ray Ford for giving Nick Ball a pretty close fight for most of that before Ball sort of came back towards the end of the fight. And I think he's going to give Orlando Gonzalez a run for his money. With boxing cards, it's very, very easy to break down. Usually.
I thought that Ray Ford had a case to even win that fight, personally.
Exactly. Yeah. I was surprised that Ball won it. But seems like Ball's the king of winning close decisions. So got to give it to him. I think there was one fight that really should have gone his way and it didn't. So now the boxing gods, it's karma. Now they're giving him all the decisions after that. So I think Ray Ford's going to find his way to a knockout, I believe. How did I pick this one? Let me scroll up. I had him by decision. Yep. Classic Ray Ford decision. So there you go. Orlando Gonzalez, I don't think he's ever been put away, so makes sense. And then we got
Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez, one of the best fighters there is in boxing right now. Going to take on a guy, but yeah, I mean, Bam Bam Rodriguez definitely had a case for fighter of the year the last couple of years. So yeah, I mean, I don't know who his opponent is, but I'll just heavily favor Bam Bam in this one. He's a really young guy. He's a really young guy too, and he's so skilled. Love watching his fights. So
yeah, a lot of split decisions right now, which I don't think fares well. I mean, it might show that he's tough, but also he's never gotten a knockout himself, so I don't think he presents a threat in terms of knockouts. Meanwhile, got Bam Bam, round 7 KO, round 9 knockout over Sonny Edwards, which is actually really impressive because Edwards has good boxing defense. So Bam Bam is just starting to figure a lot of these guys out who are on big win streaks, hot streaks.
And like I said, he's still so young. So
yeah. And then our big main event, Boots versus the Karen 2.0. Who you got in this one, Skatesman?
Well, I'll just start off by saying like the IBF is definitely one of the titles that gets defended the most against like random dudes, but you know, generally like these guys have put in some work. It's like considered like the workman's title. So for some reason, this guy is mandatory, and Boots is just fulfilling a role and keeping his belt, getting the mandatory out of the way. But it beckons me back to when. Do you know about Bridgerweight? Are you aware of Bridgerweight?
I do know the Bridgerweight weight division because there was one time where I was actually starting to get into boxing, and I was going down the list of like all the boxing champions, and then Bridgerweight was like a new one. I was like, "Whoa, new!"
Do you know how Bridgerweight was formed?
I do not actually.
Okay, so Bridgerweight was formed when this kid, his name was Bridger. It's actually a pretty incredible story. He went into the backyard of his neighbor's house to go like play with the neighbor kid, and there was a dog there, and it was going after him and his little sister, and he basically like saved his sister, but he got mauled by the dog, and he had to get facial reconstruction surgery, and it was like a big thing. And for some reason, the WBA like shamelessly cashed in on that.
Are you fucking kidding me?
They started a new weight division between cruiserweight and heavyweight and called it Bridgerweight. Now, the reason I bring this up is because who was ranked at Bridgerweight when they formed a division? You would think it would be top heavyweights and top cruiserweights. No, it was completely random guys. So I think that just like in this case, you probably had some oligarch from an Eastern European country pay to get his man ranked on the IBF's rankings, and it's probably why he's fighting Boots. Now, the problem with Boots is we've already seen him in a fight against another Karen, and that guy was pretty good, but
it's the same dude.
Boots just is it the same exact guy?
This is a rematch. Karen Chukhadzian and then Karen Chukhadzian.
Okay, did you watch that first fight?
I did not. How'd it go?
Well, Karen actually fought really well. Gave Boots a lot of problems, and it mostly was based on footwork and the speed and the movement of Karen. Boots was never able to catch it, but he won every single round. So I guess Karen lost that fight. Got three wins against probably people we've never heard of. He's back up there. Good for him. So, but the problem with this fight, and always with fights like this, is Boots needs to look impressive. He needs to get a knockout, or else people will start calling him boring. Oh, he said he wants to fight Crawford and Spence and all these people. Like, bullshit. Look, he couldn't even beat this fucking can. But actually, this Karen guy is not bad. So.
It actually seems to me like with boxing, you're really relying on a good performance to get like a big fight compared to MMA, where it's like even Bilal Muhammad is getting, his welterweight title shot.
Okay, but I mean, why is that?
Why did Bilal Muhammad get a title shot?
In boxing, you are your own brand. There's no UFC there's no UFC to bring in the money. So if you don't put on impressive performances in boxing, you can still be the champ. But as far as like the contracts that are made with the promoters that are putting on your fights, this is why Bob Arum famously once said, "I could have bought a house in Hollywood with all the money I lost promoting Bud Crawford." Because though Bud Crawford was on a crazy knockout streak, the guy
couldn't draw.
Never fought anybody of note really until Errol Spence.
Yeah,
and he was very hard to promote because he doesn't even do interviews. So all he really had to rely on was his in-ring performances, and we just saw Crawford's last fight was pretty bad. So yeah, that's why, as you said, like you need good performances. But I think maybe like some of the boxing hardcores will be a little bit softer on Boots if he doesn't win impressively, considering he already fought this guy, and we now know that the guy is actually pretty good. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing with Jarno Aarons is that he is the current champion. Like
Jarno Aarons?
Jarron Ennis.
His name is Jarron Boots Ennis.
Man, I just mistook that for that one guy from the Netherlands from the UFC that got.
I know. I don't know what's wrong with you. You and names, dude. You just anyway.
All right, Jarron Boots Ennis.
Jarron. It's Jarron.
Jarron Ennis. All right.
There you go.
Well, he's a champion right now, so he's making a little bit of money as the champion. And what makes me a little less sympathetic is that a lot of these boxers are making money once they make it to the top. So they're not getting super fights, but they are making money through the contracts in these fights. But at the same time, like it's tough to get those big super fights. I mean, even Inoue, who is like, the monster, and wow, he's on the pound for pound list. Like, has he fought anybody with like a big name who's like just above him or below him? Maybe that British champion we knocked out.
The only big name he's ever fought, and you can't even tell me otherwise, is Nonito Donaire. That's the only big name he's ever fought.
Yeah. And other than that, he's been having to fight mandatory challengers. He's about to fight Sam Goodman at the end of the year. But a lot of people were saying that him, signing with the Saudis and Turki Al-Sheikh is going to allow him to have more potential matchups open up for him. At least that's what people are saying. Do you agree with that? Or is that...
We already talked about this on a previous show. No. No, I mean, he's already cleaned out all the lower weight classes. But him and Bam Bam would be fun. Him and Nick Ball would be fun, but those guys aren't draws either. So who fucking cares? I just think that the Saudi money will give him a bigger platform potentially, and therefore make him more money. So good for Inoue.
Yeah. Although I think he already is an international star, but
we don't need to read. I don't think we need to read all that.
Okay, I will not read all that. I'll read that in my spare time. Need Bam Rodriguez versus Junto Nakatani one day. Well, maybe if he signs with Turkey, they'll put the fight together. Boxing needs less weight classes and MMA needs more weight classes. I think so. I'd actually agree with that statement. I feel like having an atomweight division, a fight between a welterweight division, or no, a division between lightweight and welterweight would also be pretty good. A division between...
well, there already is an atomweight division in MMA.
Yes, but it's not in the UFC. I guess you could say like UFC needs more divisions in its own ranking system, which would definitely produce some more stars. And meanwhile, boxing, why do you have a Bridgerweight naming it off a kid who got mauled horribly and having a cash grab based on it? That's not great. I think I can help with this Pam Pan situation. Is that a 1FC shit or what is that? Also, after 169, RWS is going to have a semifinal for their super welterweight title. This one should be fun. It's going to be in the morning for you guys. I know that Skatesman likes RWS on occasion. So are you actually considering seeing that show? Or I'm assuming Idaho Skatesman will be busy during that.
Yeah, I'm on a trip, so probably not.
Yeah. I'm out. I don't need to listen to that. It's long-winded. Thank God. Wait, people care about here. And Swamp Beaver is lighting up a cigarette for protest. Okay, there you go. Next, we have UFC Fight Night. Magny versus Protest. Real quick. Okay, yeah, he's going to swap his hat. There you go. UFC. Skatesman is so loyal to the UFC. It's unbelievable, let me tell you. But let's look at the first 3 fights we got for this card. Yes, first off, we got an absolute barn burner Idaho Skatesman between two of the most notable names in this sport. We have got Melissa No Mess Mullins against Klaudia Syguła from Poland and has never had a fight in the UFC. Banger right here, Skatesman. Banger. Actually, let me pull up the fight since Skatesman might need to get a little educated on these two. Um, here we go. So Melissa Mess Mullins, 6-1. Both these ladies are 6-1. Melissa Mullins lost to Nora Cornol, that power puncher in France on the last Paris card, who beat her with a knee to the body and then kicked her in the head multiple times for the knockout. And then other than that, she's mostly been ragdolling and destroying fighters on the ground. She did have a big win over Daria Zelezniakova, who we've seen in the UFC since then.
Who's terrible.
Yeah, she is. But meanwhile, Klaudia Syguła, and I'll. You want me to do my description of the fight first before you make a decision?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know anything about these people.
All right. So, Melissa Mullins is nicknamed No Mess, and that's because she takes all her opponents down to make sure she doesn't get any blood on the canvas. She has good striking in her back pocket when she needs it, but her bread and butter is her wrestling. Unfortunately, she ran into a high testosterone Nora Cornol, who stuffed most of her takedowns and then kneed her to the body before kicking her over and over again for the TKO win. Hopefully that was a learning experience for Mullins to mix in the striking with her wrestling as well. And she'll have an easy lesson for that in Klaudia Syguła, who is such a can crusher, it's unreal. Her last fight was custom rules against a boxer who has never trained MMA in her life and looked like it. And before that, she beat a 6-9 girl and fighters with hardly any bouts on their records. There's been knockouts and she does have power, but that doesn't mean anything when she's up against an actual challenge with expert wrestling. She'll be down before she can scream uncle, and Uncle Vladik won't even be there to hear it. Mullins,
Vladik?
Yeah, just a random Polish name I can think of. Mullins is leaving no mess in the cage yet again, with or without striking. Again, such a low-level matchup, and the UFC will have no moss regarding Caligula Sygula's tenure in the UFC. God, I just said Caligula when describing an MMA fight. So there you go. I'm going with Mullins by decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fair. So MMA GP, I'm guessing, is an offshoot of MTGP, which is like a European, why it was custom rules in her last fight. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, the problem with like these people that make their MMA debut and they've been getting finishes against cans is like, sometimes they're actually really good. So yeah, I'm sure I have seen Melissa Mullins fight. Don't remember it. I'll pick her to win as well by decision.
All right, sounds good. Let's read some comments, shall we? Klaudia looks like Jennifer Garner. Yeah, and it's another reason not to pick her is that she actually has looks, and so that shows that she's never really been challenged in MMA. Whereas the ones who are
or in life in general
and have a little bit more marking on their face and some strange abrasions on there, they've actually been in fights. So you go with the one with experience. Send you the fight. It was fun. I found one of those funny smelling cigarettes. Sponsorship, maybe? Yeah. Let's have cigarette company as a sponsorship for SkateTank MMA. That Winston delicious smoky taste.
Maybe, dude, I'm down for a Geek Bar sponsorship. Geek Bar, sponsor me, and I will I'll promote nicotine.
Well, there goes our monetization right there. Copyright strike.
For showing a Geek Bar on stream.
Exactly. Will she be wearing fake eyelashes? Yes. And Melissa Mullins is gonna punch those right off of her face.
Wow.
So that's gonna be fun. Tracy Cortez style. Anyway, yeah, don't trust the female MMA fighters that look good. Then we got a fight at middleweight between Tresean, Mr. Vicious Gore, and Antonia Trócoli. All right, what do you think?
Hey, Trócoli.
Oh, forget about it.
This is a tough one to pick. Tresean Gore is another one of those fighters that sometimes he'll look really good, and then sometimes he'll get knocked out by Cody Brundage. So submitting Josh Fremden his last fight. On the other end, Trócoli won on the Contender Series. Wait, this says it was overturned?
Yes, it was because he got popped for PEDs.
And then he came back to the UFC 4 months ago and got knocked out by Sharaputin. Man, what a tough fight to pick between middleweight. Middleweight sucks. What's up, WMC? He says Gore is ass. Yeah. I mean,
Gory ass.
I don't know who to pick in this one. You got the younger Tresean Gore, but this doesn't really matter. I think that Tresean Gore also suffers from that effect of like he's not really a fighter. He's probably just more of an athlete than anything else. I do think that Trócoli probably more willing to scrap and take damage, but he only got knocked out 4 months ago. Now, I don't think Tresean Gore is like the most vicious knockout guy there is. So yeah, that makes it tough as well. Definitely Gore is the favorite, minus 180. Trócoli coming in at plus 145. So not really like super good odds either way you pick it. Yeah. But I don't know. Who are you picking?
I'm going with Tresean Gore by decision. Tresean Gore, or Mr. Vicious, can live up to his monikers on occasion, locking in a brutal guillotine and submission win against Josh No Friends, finding some knockouts on the Ultimate Fighter, and even finding a way to get knocked out by Cody Brundage. Win or lose, and Brundage is an embarrassing loss. Tresean's in that cage to fight and see some gore. Also, he was in horrible shape going into that Brundage fight, so that low energy in camp likely translated to an L. He wasn't the most healthy going into that. Tony Broccoli, meanwhile, took on guys on the regional scene who might as well have been vegetables, beating a dude 0-1, 1-1, 2-6, 4 fights ago. Yeah, I'm going to hell for that one.
That's a hell of a diss.
Yeah, I sat in my room with a pencil in my ear, just thinking, what would Eminem do? There you go. I would talk about how you're a vegetable in a green vitamin C. Anyway, Eminem just has childish insults for people. He's lost to mid competition in Brazil too.
Wow.
And in general, just doesn't do. I dissed Eminem. Is he afraid to diss me? We'll find out. And in general, just doesn't do a lot in the cage once he's there. Malvado my ass. He's a submission artist at middleweight. That's usually a bad sign unless your name's Hamzat, DDP, or GM3. Trócoli doesn't rank anywhere near those guys as a grappler, and I don't think there's a chance he takes down or submits a fellow wrestler striker hybrid in Tresean Gore when he can't even take down or punish Shara Magomedov on the ground. Gore is going to whoop that ass over 3 rounds because he actually tries to fight in there and can punish him basically however he wants in the grappling or on the feet. This guy, Trócoli's a schmuck. I don't know why the UFC is keeping him around after that horrific performance against Shara, where he quit in the 3rd round like Herbert Burns. Botched! Gore by dominant decision. Could even find a finish here, but I'm going the Skatesman way from here on out until further notice. Or Skatesman picks a finish, in which case I'll do the same. So, there you go.
Well, yeah, I'll probably just go the same.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
That's what
2
else?
bums.
Yeah, bums. Fucking bums, dude.
Bum City.
Speaking of bum, we got good old Cody Stamann in here right now.
Oh, we got a man named Bacon My Bean, or Bacon My Bacon. He says, "Remember the trailer park? Eminem ain't taking that kind of disrespect." Well, we'll patiently await his response, and maybe you need to write like a Stan letter. Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. I dissed you on the SkateTank MMA channel, waiting for you to recall it.
My name at the bottom. I love you, Slim. We could have been together on a podcast. Think about it. We got the post show, and now I hope that you scream about it. I hope the content eats at you and can't pick without me.
Yeah, all that.
We got Cody Stamann and Damon Blackshear. My screen's gone cold. I'm wondering why.
So yeah, both men coming off of 2 losses to pretty decent opponents. I think Montel Jackson was a little more under the radar when he did knock out Damon Blackshear, which kind of put him on the map. Cody Stamann, on the other hand, losing to Douglas Silva de Andrade, which shout out to him. I love that dude. Fucking puts on amazing fights every time he's in there.
That he lost the last fight.
Yeah. And then Tanner Lapalus, who is actually looking really good as of late. So this is a tough one to pick. Both guys have more of a grappling heavy style. I think Damon Blackshear more known for subs. Cody Stamann more known for just like grinding a dude out. No Diddy, no Jones. It's tough fight to pick.
You want to talk about?
I always pick Cody Stamann fights wrong. So The only thing that's going to make me fade him here and pick Damon Blackshear by decision is the fact that he's 35 now at bantamweight. Damon Blackshear just slightly younger, so yeah, that's gonna make me pick Damon Blackshear in this spot by decision.
There you go. Very, very smart thinking from the Skatesman. I also have, where is he? Where's the little bastard? There you go. I got Damon Blackshear by decision. The era of Cody Spartan Stamann has long since passed. He's only been winning against Eddie Wineland and Luan Lacerda, who we know stink in the modern day and have been cut from the UFC since, which is not a good look. And though he keeps the fights he loses very competitive, he still loses them. Damon Blackshear also hasn't faced the highest caliber of bantamweights in the UFC, but he's finished those he's beaten more impressively, in my opinion, and had a close fight with Mario Bautista, Aldo Victim, and Merab 2.0. So he must be good to survive that terrifying boogeyman of the division, I tells you. Other than that competition, he got slept by Montel Quick Jackson in 18 seconds. But hey, it's Montel Quick Jackson, so I'll give it a pass. What's really defining this fight is Stamann having T-Rex arms, resulting in Damon having a 5-inch reach advantage and a great shot of chinning this dude at some point, and then following him down to the mat for the devastating rabbit shots on top. Oh, the humanity! I predict it will be a lot of that for 3 rounds, since Cody Stamann has only been submitted or knocked out in the cage by the best wrestlers of the division, like Said Nurmagomedov and Aljo Comain Sterling. Damon won't find the same twister he did with crappy, tall Jose Johnson, but instead grind out little Cody, no diddy, for the easy. Dude, we both came up with the no diddy right there for the easy decision win. I'm getting in his head, guys. Baba Blackshear finally has a W. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 rounds full. So there you go. Give me the Blackshear by decision. We then
terrible.
Yeah, it was nice when I thought of it. Again, where you at, Eminem? Charles Radtke taking on Matthew Semi the Jedi Semelsberger. This is
so I used to really love Matthew Semelsberger. Like, the dude always goes out there, win, lose, or draw. He's always like going out there to get a finish or get finished. Gotta love Semi the Jedi, but it's looking really shitty as of late. Like, and I'm saying, like, the dude's looking really shitty. And it sucks because, like, he used to have this like long, crazy hair, and then he took some losses with that. So you're like, oh, maybe he needs to shave his head. That he would, like, you know, come in all clean cut, still lose. So you're like
Skatesman, man.
Well, you're like, but that's the difference. Is I'm usually winning as far as picks go on this show. So, but no, it's just sad watching the decline of Semi the Jedi, who, again, like, not a guy that you really are just like a fan of, but the guy fucking is in fun fights. On the other end, remind me, is Charles Radtke, is he like a wrestler, dude?
He's a wrestler, but he also has knockout power, and he uses his takedowns to get knockouts.
So the problem with him is in his 2 UFC fights, he's beaten Mike Mathena, Blood Diamond. Y'all remember Blood Diamond?
Yeah.
Anyone remember Blood Diamond? He beat him by decision. I mean, look, Blood Diamond in a kickboxing match would probably kick my ass, you know, obviously. But I could probably get some takedowns and submit Blood Diamond. You know what I'm saying? That's not a thing. So he went to decision with him, knocking out Gilbert Urbina, who is a total shitty can. Don't know why he's even in the UFC. And then he goes in there and loses to Prates. So it's like, we really don't know how to gauge him at the highest level, right? Because everyone's getting knocked out against Carlos Prates. I think that his game is definitely good to get a win here over Matthew Semelsberger. But the problem with Semelsberger is he's known to look really bad in fights and then just like get a cool performance or KO. Yeah. But at this point, even though he's 31, even though he's 31 and Charles Radtke is older at 34, 35, I think that Charles Radtke is a little bit more on the up trend, and Semelsberger is down. Yeah, like down bad and pretty washed.
Down bad.
The only thing that does give me pause is he did only get knocked out 4 months ago to Carlos Prates, but it was a body shot. So I'm going to let it slide on my rule of, like, you know, you got to take 6 months after you get knocked out. It was a body shot, so Yeah, give me Charles Radtke by decision just to go safe, but I would not be surprised if he finds a finish because I think that Semelsberger is just taking too much damage and he's totally washed at this point.
Yeah. And initially, I had Charles Radtke by round 2 KO, but that is going to be a decision now when I go on Tapology. Charles Radtke has only lost in the UFC so far to Carlos Prates, the Sig-smoking chosen one fight nerd, who is going to be main eventing this card. Let's give him a break for that one. He's going up against Matthew Semi the Jedi Semelsberger. Sounds lame when you hear Sem in there twice, doesn't it? It's always been a problem for me because he's Semi the Jedi, and then he says Semelsberger afterwards. Like, who I think is currently at the tail end of his career. Preston Parsons didn't have to do much to beat him at his last rodeo. Just get a few takedowns now and then and beat up Matt on top. It's a shame because I love Semi the Jedi, but I have to go with Charles Radtke rather handily just due to his ability to integrate takedowns into his overall game and use them to get the knockout. I just see in my mind that combination being there for him. Semelsberger has always come close to finishing his fights, but then he never does and pays for it at the end usually. So maybe he knocks down Radtke at some point, but I still think Radtke closes the show in round 2 and then says it again, brubber. Yee. This is the last of Semi Jedi. Chuck Buffalo, baby. So there we go. Charles Radtke via the terrible R word.
So, whoa. So yeah, the next fight will be Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, who was supposed to take on Nicholas Dalby. That would have been a really fun fight. Unfortunately, Nicholas Dalby having to pull out, so they brought some scrub in off the regional scene. Remind me, Zaleski versus Randy Brown was a pretty close fight, right?
It was, and so was his fight with Renat. The guy's doing nothing but getting close fights with people.
Yeah, and here's a guy who 4 straight decisions, 2 in which he won, 1 in which he lost, and 1 was a draw. I feel like Zaleski dos Santos used to be like a killer. Definitely like a really tough matchup in the division, and still is, but I think it's actually good. I would have picked Nicholas Dalby to beat him. I think that this bum Zach Scoggins probably going to get his ass whooped by Zaleski dos Santos, but again, just to be safe, even though he probably will end up getting a knockout, which probably should pick him by knockout, even though he hasn't had one in a very long time. I'll probably go with Zaleski by decision.
Yeah, the Idaho Skatesman way. There you go. But also the Hank the Tank way, because I actually did pick him by decision initially, so I won't change that. Finally, a fight where Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos is actually expected to win. The UFC has been giving him touted prospects and monsters as of late, and he's obliged with great performances in very close contests due to him being tough as nails and having a good gas tank. Old man strength. There you go. His decision win over Benoit Saint-Denis makes sense now, but his decision win against Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov is also really good, along with his solid efforts against Renat Fikretnov and Randy Brown. 2 fights where Renat should have lost. Two fights where Renat the Rat Fikretnov should have lost that went his way. Someone chin this privileged Dagestani clown already. Anyway, his short notice replacement opponent for Nicholas Dalby, that's who they were going to give this guy. It's nothing but fucking hard matchups for this 37-year-old man. Zach Scroggin. It's not all that impressive, despite the undefeated record, winning against 9-17 guys, 5-4, 19-14, and some of them he's not even finishing. He's not going to finish Zaleski dos Santos, I can promise you that. And Elizeu's going to just beat him to a bloody pulp over 3 rounds, not finish him since he never does that. And Zach Scroggin's going to be slogging on short notice, enough for dos Santos to finally get a deserved win. Renat and Mario Bautista, public enemy number 1. Believe it. So
good shit.
There you go. Next fight.
So the next fight will be Cortavius Ramios versus Gaston Bolaños. So this Cortavius guy just won on like the last episode or last season. This last season of Contender Series. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know what to do here. I like Gaston Bolaños. He's very, very small. For bantamweight. Oh, I guess he's only 5'7". Maybe I'm thinking of the other guy that was in 1 that fought recently. I'm gonna fade the newcomer here. I'm gonna go Gaston Bolaños. I don't know how he's gonna get it done, but the only thing that obviously he's just 2 years the older at down a weight class that matters a little more. But it's not like a super big age difference. I think Gaston Bolaños, I'm going to just fade the newcomer. Taking a chance.
All right, there we go. Yes, right into Hank the Tank strap. Wait, hold on. What is this emoji, by the way, from Swampy Beaver?
Those are monkeys.
Yeah, I know, but it's a classic. Oh, he's covering this, that, and that. Monkey see, monkey do. I have no idea. But I am going with Cortavius. I have got Cortavius Romulus by, what is it again? I got him by decision. Idaho Skatesman way. Cortavius Romius, the most ancient Spartan name for a fighter maybe ever, definitely puts up a good fight in most of his efforts. However, he still has those soy submission artist tendencies that make him unpredictable in some of the most boring ways possible. Think Dustin Stoltzfus. He took on Michael Imperato, some grappling can on the regionals who shouldn't have even been on Contender Series, and took him to a close decision where he just laid on Imperato and made sure that he couldn't move at all. Reeks of desperation, especially stupid when you're supposed to be putting on a show and getting yourself a contract from the biggest MMA organization in the world. Are you not entertained? Yeah, no, we're not, clearly, despite your nickname. I had him on the bottom of the Contender Series fighters for that week to get a contract, and I guess Mick Maynard must have put in a good word for him.
And what's even funnier about you saying that is he's 30 at bantamweight, and he's 5'4". We're not looking for 30-year-old prospects. But, Mick and Sean, they really wanted him in the UFC. Like, what?
Yeah. Hey, I'm entertained, kid. I'm entertained. I love everything about this kid. Because Dana somehow gave this bottom feeder a UFC contract. Now, I've critiqued Romius a bunch here, but somehow, some way, his opponent is even worse. And it's annoying I have to pick a fighter with such a low ceiling in the UFC. But still, Gaston Bolaños, the dream killer, seems like he's having his dreams in the UFC killed at the present moment. On short notice against lower-level fighter Aaron Phillips, he allowed a complete can to get on top of him and control him for a good chunk of the fight. That was a horrible sign going into his next fight with Marcus McGee, who pretty much dog-walked him, no Izzy, and then styled on him at the end, no Bender, for the TKO win. He looked like a regional fighter in there, despite being a Bellator vet with a good track record. Slow, too, in that fight. And I think that's the perfect combination of mid for Cortavius, as crap as he is, to take advantage of that and do some damage on top. Maybe get a submission, but he honestly looked so uncomfortable in top position against Imperato that I can't pick him by finish here. This guy's not UFC material. When all said and done, he is Cortavius Romius, and he will have his vengeance. I'm still not entertained.
There you go.
So there you go. Next fight, and then I got to actually take a quick break. So for Skatesman to read down the next one, I hope. Yeah, he should know this one. There you go.
So yeah, Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Denise Gomez. This is a tough fight to predict in this spot because, like, you kind of almost wonder, like, why exactly would the UFC be making this matchup? Denise Gomez only 24. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, obviously, like, one-time title challenger, was on a bad losing streak and then just, like, kind of came back, brought it back, looking good against these type of prospects. She did lose her last fight to Yasmin Lucindo, a very similar-ish fighter, and actually Denise Gomez and Yasmin Lucindo, I thought they fought each other, but I guess they didn't. So yeah, like, you would obviously, like, just at a glance, you would pick Denise Gomez to win this fight, and I probably still will, but the problem is we've seen Denise Gomez, like, get out-grappled and grinded out by certain opponents. I mean, you lose a splitty to fucking Angela Hill, or I guess it was a unanimous decision to Angela Hill, which is just crazy. So that makes me think that, like, another old vet like Karolina could actually get this done here. And honestly, like, I don't think it's a bad idea to pick Karolina on the money line here, because I think that's just Denise's bad, or Denise's, like, one weak spot is her grappling. Being so young, I'm sure she can eventually shore that up. But when you lose a decision to Loma Lookboonmee, who is a Muay Thai fighter, and you get out grappled, I think that's a bad sign of, like, people can take you down, control you. Not cool having Karolina fight it too. Just really fingers. But yeah, I think that's definitely the one reason why you might want to actually bet Karolina in this spot, and just looking at the line too, like, she's plus 320. I'm sure that there might even be some prop to pick her by decision, might even be more. But But yeah, I'm gonna pick Denise. I'm gonna pick her to get it done by decision, which is actually kind of scary because I think probably her best way to actually get a win here is to get a finish. But yeah, I'm gonna fade Karolina here. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the 39-year-old Karolina Kowalkiewicz figures out a way to get another win over another young prospect, like she has done as of late before running into Yasmin Lucinda. So,
yep, that's a good pick, Skatesman. However, I do have Denise Gomez by round 2 KO. If we end up like having a moment where like we really, unless we have a moment where we disagree on a fight, and honestly, so many of these fights are sort of layups. Actually, you picked against Cortavius. That'll be the decider. So I'll go for Denise Gomez by decision. I'm trying the new Hank the Tank method. But
you're just stealing all my methods.
Yes, exactly. Like you steal all my picks, damn it.
How do I steal all your picks? I take your advice on picks that I don't know anything about the fighters.
I swear to God, there have been times that you have picked against me, and then I've given a description like, oh well, you know, I'm gonna switch there. Tank the Tank.
Well, yeah, you know what's funny about that? You mentioning that, you go, well, you steal my picks. You know what's funny? Every time I switch my mind because you kind of convinced me the other way, that pick ends up being wrong.
Oh, really? I swear, it's like a 50-50 rate, okay?
Hey, man, you know what? You got to switch it up because you're 14-8.
It is true. So I'm gonna go with my method this stream and see what happens. I'm trying to avoid a crash.
You're still gonna lose. It's okay.
I'm gonna avoid the crash out here, people.
No, you won't. You won't. You'll still crash out. By the way, tune in tomorrow on Saturday for Hank the Tank's crash out stream.
Why you got to reveal all my magic tricks right here, Skatesman? Come on. Okay, I'm going with Denise Gomez by decision.
Hold on. What's wrong with my audio paradox?
Oh, you're just in a big room, so it has like the echo effect a little bit. But if you were in his regular spot, it'd be good. I personally don't have a problem with it, especially with Paradox the Chad's nasally ass voice during all of his streams. I wouldn't criticize Skatesman.
Do I sound any better?
Now you sound like you've got your mic and it's like you're in a computer. Oh, I'm in the system, man. Holy shit! You know,
that doesn't sound good.
It's okay. It's one complaint, dude. Yeah, I'd switch it back. We're doing fine. It's 1 hour and 18 minutes, and people are still here, so I wouldn't worry about it.
It's not that bad. Oh God, maybe I should switch it to maybe I shouldn't use these stupid headphones.
You said it's not that bad. It's good. Anyway, I got Denise Gomez. Listen to Hank the Tank, you dumbasses. Come on. Going with Denise Gomez by decision now. First, I've got to give Karolina Kowalkiewicz her flowers. She always puts up a fight in the UFC and beat Vanessa Demopoulos by decision, which is pretty much impossible in today's day and age. However, whenever she gets hit, she viscerally shows it on her face, which is not going to take her far at women's strawweight. She always just like tenses up. Ow, that hurt. You know, makes it clear to everyone she's in pain. Yasmin Lucindo beat her ass, and she made sure that the audience and judges could see it. Denise Gomez, meanwhile, isn't even in her prime yet, and she's knocking out Yasmin Jauregui and Bruna Brazil. D's on a spree. Her performance against Eduarda Moura was super impressive. Her takedown defense was excellent, and she was landing big combinations on Moura for most of that fight. She's 24, dude, and she's getting these knockouts of vets. The only women's strawweights she's lost to as of late are Angela Hill and Luma Lookbonmi, the dark horses of women's strawweight. Gomez is talented, and she can actually go far. I think Karolina is a stepping stone here. She's going to get hit with big combos from Gomez and won't like it. Maybe she'll throw back with some slick technique, but the power of Gomez will be too much in a stand-up battle. And I think Karolina starts to cover up around round 2. With a standing TKO, Denise is getting it done, and Karolina's cooked. Sorry.
And she'll probably cry if she loses that way. Yes. Lola Jackson says, totally fine. Okay, good. Good to see you, Lola.
Hello, Lola.
But yeah, the next fight will be Mansur Abdul-Malik versus Dusko Todorovic. So haven't seen Dusko Todorovic in a long time. I remember him making his UFC debut, and actually he's a pretty fun fighter too.
Scary injury.
He's a pretty fun fighter too. Like another one of those guys like get or get got. So yeah, Mansur Abdul-Malik, 6-0, winning on the Contender Series. Recently against a man named Wes Schultz. Don't know who the fuck that is, but yeah, I know I watched the fight happen, but I just don't remember it. Watched too many damn fights. So you mentioned that he's coming off of a really bad knee injury. Can you break that down?
So basically, he was fighting against Christian Leroy Duncan. He was actually doing pretty good in the first couple of rounds, and then at one point he threw a kick. Either he threw a kick or CLD threw a kick, and then his knee went out from under him and got an ACL injury on top of it, big tear, and has been gone for a year and 7 months since. I don't think he's even been booked. So rotten fucking injury for Dusko Todorovic, and he was doing well against CLD too, but now he's been out of commission for a very long time.
Yeah, so you would think that I'd pick Mansoor in this spot, but I'm going to go with Jay from Rush Hour's advice. He says, anytime you got a fighter from Maryland, pick against him. Pick against him. I'm doing it here. I'm giving Dusko his flowers. Hopefully he can return to form. Picking him by second round knockout. Let's go.
Man, Skatesman has a vendetta against all the Contender Series debut fighters on this
Well,
card.
that's the thing, though, is like, sometimes a newcomer comes in and they really surprise us, and sometimes we go, oh yeah, see, they were just a can on the regional scene. So
sometimes they surprise us in a bad way, like with good old James Lontop in the UFC. I still won't forgive that motherfucker. But I am going with Mansoor Abdul-Malik by round 1 KO. That being said, yet another fight on this card where the young UFC debut rookie has enough holes in his game to get exposed at a low level. So there's Skatesman's logic. But the guy he's fighting is even worse. Mansoor Abdul-Malik crushed cans on the regional scene, but boy, did he crush him with first-round KO after first-round KO. However, his Contender Series fight with Wes Schultz got very hairy, and not just because of Schultz's braids. That he
Chummy Boy says he's leaving. Good to see you, man. Take it easy.
Catch you later, Chummy. Good old buddy, old chum. And look, good old Andrew B is here. Fantastic. Your beard is.
I thought that he was done with all these shows. But all right,
he's hockey from home now. He's always back for more. Shout out to St. Paul Steel. Shout out to St. Paul Steel. But anyway, not just because of Schultz's braids was that match hairy. Abdul-Malik was getting kneed in the head, hit with big shots, taken down. Honestly, would have been a 10-8 if Mansoor hadn't have gotten some shots in towards the end of the first round. Then in the second round, he started to find his flow and then took Schultz down for the big ground and pound KO win. His opponent here, Dusko Todorovic, got knocked out in the first round by Chidi Njokuani. That's already a bad sign. And then RoboCop and CLD both smoked him. This guy loses to middleweights with actual talent, and I think Mansoor is one of those guys. He'll present a threat to Mansoor early, given he's more experienced, but as the fight goes on, I think Abdul-Malik will get those takedowns easy, especially on a guy who's been out almost 2 years with a torn ACL, Darren Till style. Disco's nickname is Thunder, but he's getting thunderstruck in this fight when Mansoor takes him down and smashes him. No Diddy for the brutal ground and pound first round TKO win. So there we go.
So the next fight is a strawweight match between Luana Pinheiro and Gillian Robertson. I don't think we need to preview this one. Also, we're kind of stressed for time here. Only got like 30 minutes left where I got to go.
Yeah. All right.
But all I need to tell you about this fight is Gillian Robertson gets subs. Luana Pinheiro just got subbed by Angela fucking Hill of all people in her last fight. Gillian Robertson, second round submission.
Yeah. I also have Gillian Robertson by second round submission. So Skatesman and I agree on that. Yeah, I just think Robertson's really good. And once she gets you down to the mat, she just fucking destroys you. So it's going to be another case here. If Angela Hill can do
Also, Priscilla Cachoeira tried to eye gouge her. So ever since then, I've felt a little more sympathetic to Gillian Robertson. Don't know how Priscilla Cachoeira didn't get absolutely cut after that fight. But, you cut like a guy like Husamar Palhara, something. Yeah. Oh, he held the heel hook for too long. Oh, we're going to freak out. Come on. Anyway.
He's the new Rosamar Palhares. Robertson only lost to Richie, so she's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, and she's getting better, too. Yeah. Don't like her red period hair, though. That's kind of weird. Anyway, next fight will be GM3, Gerald Meerschaert versus Rainer de Ridder. What a weird, strange fight for RDR's UFC debut. Hank the Tank actually called me after this fight was booked. He goes, "Did you know that GM3 is taking on RDR?" And I was like, "What a terrible matchup!" Because in all reality, it's a lose booking, right? GM3 wins, he gets the sub on the Dutch night.
All the hype.
Oh wow, he beat a guy from one. Who cares? RDR comes in and he beats GM3. the narrative will be like, oh wow, RDR beat fucking Gerald Mearshart, who's not even that good. He got one punch KO'd by Hamza Chimaev. But breaking it down, I mean, you can't deny the fact that Gerald Mearshart has the most submission wins in the UFC. Super
Literally
impressive.
Middleweight GOAT submission artist.
Now, the where I'm torn on this fight is, I think you would obviously agree with me when I say GM3 is better at getting the submission finish. Obviously, now RDR has pretty good grappling in his own right. Who's got the better stand up?
That's the question. I think that Gerald Mearshart is really good at picking at his fighter at his opponents while he's sort of distanced. Like, he's actually solid. I believe he has some belt or some accomplishment in striking beyond just his grappling. So that or the kind of submission grappling that he's used to has a combat like variant of it. And that's why he's like solid on the feet. It's hard for him to get chinned. But like at the same time, he gets beaten up in his fights.
Yeah.
Even by
I think that GM3 is more scrappy, more willing to have like a sloppy middleweight fight. Yeah. Whereas RDR, he's a lot more technical in his kickboxing, though it's not that effective. So it's almost a wash on the feet. Yep. It's almost a wash on the feet. And not to mention, he lost to Anatoly Malykhan 2 times in the last year. Yeah. Actually, the last fight was a year and 10 months ago. My apologies. And then he got fucking straight dusted by Malykhan 7 months ago. Leaving one unauthorized, having a fight in UAE Warriors. I'm guessing they just cut him after that. This is a great signing for the UFC. Former one championship, actually.
Former one middleweight and light heavyweight champion. Oh, god damn it.
Former one championship, double champ, like
5 seconds.
What?
He'll have the hat on for 5 seconds, then he'll have to switch back after the fight.
Yeah, I'll have to switch it back. But yeah, former double champ is a good signing for the UFC, but at the same time, like it's such a hard pick here for me. The only reason I am actually going to pick RDR to get the win here is just based on the fact, even though in his last fight, his last 2 fights with Malykhan, he did get fucked up by Malykhan. I just think that GM3 has accumulated a lot more damage, and he's a little bit more war-torn than RDR, who's a little bit fresher in this fight. But seriously, man, this is a good fight. And it's going to suck to hear the narratives coming out of this one, because I really do like this fight a lot. And I think that either man to get the win in this spot will be very impressive.
For sure. It'll definitely be impressive if Gerald Mearshart beats Rainier de Ridder. And for Rainier, I don't know if he'll get that much of a boost, since GM3 has had some embarrassing losses before, but he is on a hot streak right now. So maybe that'll help. I'm going with GM3, the middleweight GOAT. No denying it. Round 3 sub. Let's get it, baby. No, seriously, I'm sorry. I can't keep up that act. I love GM3, one of my favorite fighters ever, but he's not going to beat the guy who won FC's middleweight and light heavyweight championships and only lost to Anatoly Malykhan. I'm sorry. He submitted grapplers, knocked out solid strikers. He's a complete package and would still be champion in 1 if not for Anatoly. I'm going to give GM3 his respect and say he survives round 1. Against the Ridder with his cautious striking, but I think at some point in round 2, Rainier's catching him with a big shot and actually putting him away, unlike that shockingly soy boy ginger Edmund Chukhadzian. The Dutch Knights finally fighting for Dana's castle, and the GOAT GM3's back to being a doormat for whatever frightening prospects the UFC wants to give a win. I will be rooting for GM3 the entire time here, though. How are you picking Rainier to win the fight, by the way, Skatesman?
Decision. But that is the thing. That is the thing about GM3 is like win, lose, or draw. He's a good hammer and he's a good nail. Like he'll get knocked out good, he'll lose good, and he'll also win spectacularly. Yeah. So it's definitely
awesome. I love him.
Yeah, but definitely like you'd probably want to go with the finish here. And honestly, like if you're gonna bet this fight, go in the underdog. I don't think it's a terrible idea, and that would be GM3. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, GM3. Just a small like $5 parlay probably pay out like $50. So
yeah, Idaho, you are cool with or without your beard. Thank you so much, Andrew B. That's nice. Hank,
he didn't compliment you, but okay.
Do you like? Well, I'm thinking on behalf of you as your lawyer, Idaho Skatesman. Beaver hats, yes, I do. Nice beaver. Thanks. I just had it stuffed. Bear cap, beaver cap. Anyway, next fight is the co-main event, if you can fucking believe it. between Ricky
Yeah.
Turcios and Bernardo Sopai.
Yeah, what a terrible main event. But also shout out to the UFC for putting flyweights in like co-main event, main event spots as of late. Featured fight spots. I hate Ricky Turcios. Oh, bantamweight, sorry, but just lower weight classes in general. I hate Ricky Turcios. I can't stand him at all. He throws a lot of air strikes. Ha, ha, ha. Hitting absolutely nothing. But on the other end, like, Sopai is really bad too. But I think he was actually like putting up a decent contest against Vinicius Oliveira before he got flying knee. Am I wrong?
Yes. No, you're completely right. He schooled him for 3 rounds before Oliveira got out. Hit him with something big and then flying knee.
So the good news for him is that Ricky Turcios has no power at all. Again, he's just going to throw these strikes that are like this and not going to hit anything. So let me go. Let's go. Brendan Sopai, even though they both suck. So yeah, Sopai.
Are you gonna pick him by a submission or a decision?
Decision.
All right. Well, there goes that. I was going to pick Bernardo Sopai by round 2 submission. So if you actually want to make your bets, round 2 submission.
Dude, Hank the Tank would be a good contestant on the fucking Price is Right, because that's what he's doing to me on this fucking card.
Yeah, lower. Slick Ricky came pretty close to locking in a rear naked choke against Raul Rosas Jr., but his genetically modified chin was just too hard to pass, and Turcios ended up fumbling his advantage in round 2 and got subbed pretty quickly by Rosas Jr. Every other fight in the UFC has been going to decisions with fools that really didn't need to be so close. Some he probably should have lost to bottom feeders at bantamweight. Not a great look. Not even his win in the tough finale was impressive. Because like Skatesman said, he throws the believe in yourself. Bernardo Sopai knows how to finish his fights definitively at bantamweight, destroying 11-4 and 5-1 guys on the regionals, and taking an 8-1 guy to a split decision. On short notice, he pretty much dominated Vinicius Oliveira for almost all their fight until Vinny proved why he belonged in the UFC with that flying knee at the end. Against the second MMA guru, or Ricky Turcios. I think this fight plays out just like Raul Rosas Jr.'s fight, except the great Bernard is never in trouble on the ground and dominates Ricky Turcios until the choke is there in round 2. The Lion King takes out creepy Uncle Ricky and finally rules Pride Rock as the chosen one of the gross live-action CGI animals. Circle of Life.
So you have him by second round submission now?
No, I have him by decision, obviously.
Yeah, because you just changed you're not staying loyal to your long-winded notes anymore?
I guess not.
See, this is why I don't write notes. Anyway, main event, Neil Magny, Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates on a fucking surge right now. Knocking every motherfucker out, smoking cigarettes, fucking killing it, looking like an absolute gangster. You go ahead and scroll up to that fight. Show it on the screen. Do your job, Hank.
Hey, Jamie, pull
but
that.
Yeah, Carlos Prates is a monster. Neil Magny, the guy who always stops the prospects, and that's what he did against Michael Watt. But in his last fight against Michael Morales, he got absolutely fucking cleaned up and dusted really quickly, too, by Michael Morales. So you kind of sit there and you go like, fuck, Carlos Prates is a little more impressive than Michael Morales, so he's going to get the knockout as well. But again, like, though Carlos Prates looks very impressive, I think that there is a case to be made that his resume is absolutely shitty. And again, I know he's a fan favorite. Everybody loves him. Listen to this. Trevin Giles, Charlie Radtke, and Li Jingliang coming off of back surgery. To me, those are not very impressive wins. Neil Magny is a long-standing welterweight contender, floating around the top 5, maybe not like a serious title contender, but just kind of always floating around the top 5, top 10. So this is definitely like his toughest test, if you ask me. The problem with this fight, though, is Magny coming off that KO to Michael Morales, where he just really did absolutely nothing and just got absolutely dominated. Larry says the Leech win is actually impressive. How? How is that fucking impressive? Guy was coming off of back surgery. Didn't even look like himself. He got knocked out so quick by Carlos Prates. How the fuck is that impressive? I mean, it was decent.
Li Jingliang never got finished before that fight.
Oh, okay. Washed Li Jingliang coming off of back surgery. getting knocked out by a guy that's finishing everybody is, oh, wow, that's so fucking cool. No, I mean, it was impressive, but again, I'm not going into a fight with a guy like Neil Magny. I'm definitely weighing that in, in the matchup. So I think that there is a case for Neil Magny to get this decision win. And also, like, what does Carlos Prates look like in the 5th round of a main event? Guy who smokes cigarettes, you know what I'm saying? I think there's a case, and this is kind of the same case that I made for Li Jingliang to win his fight against Carlos Prates. There's a case that he could drag this out longer, but that fucking knockout loss to Michael Morales keeps bringing me back to Carlos Prates. So I'm going to pick him. I'm picking him to get the knockout, as is 95% of Tapology, and 91% picking him to get a knockout. Holy shit. Let me go round 2, Carlos Prates.
All right. Oh, really smart prediction from the Skatesman, because I also have Carlos Prates by round 2 KO. Neil Magny's literally dealing with another nightmare matchup here. Carlos Prates is sort of unstoppable on the front foot, regardless of if you're a wrestler, an explosive striker, you love to scrap in the pocket, doesn't matter. That left hand or knee puts them away every single time. Now, he did give Li Jingliang a round before he put him away, when I think he could have done so in round 1, but got a little too cautious at some points. For that reason, I have him knocking out Magny in round 2 instead. I know Magny got put out quick by Michael Morales, but does Prates really catch Magny with an out-of-nowhere strike? I highly doubt it. If so, it would be a knee. However, I think Magny will be at the very least prepared for a first round with Prates and keep himself out of trouble before getting hit with that big left hand for another walk-off KO. He's gonna mock Magny like a cigarette. Just don't get lung cancer, okay, Prates? Also, if Magny tries to keep it on the front foot and Prates is just backing up for a lot of it, he could find some success there. I think Prates' biggest weakness is the back foot.
What if he takes him down, though?
Well, I think Prates has actually shown some solid takedown defense against Mitch Ramirez and Trevin Giles. He made sure to, like, really back himself up against the cage.
Yeah, but those guys both suck ass.
I mean, Giles gave him a pretty good fight for a lot.
Well, good for him.
He had a good day, so I don't know. I think that his takedown defense will be underrated in the future.
Larry is asking us most confident pick, Gillian Robertson. Gotta be, right?
Yeah, and maybe Prates too.
Wow. See, I don't know. I think there's a case that Magny could get the W, honestly.
There's always a case. There's always a case. But I think he's in his Li Jingliang arc, in my opinion.
To me, it's like, dude, I don't know. Like, you can't be so confident that these guys are just like gonna be the next big thing. That's what happened to you when Steve Erceg fought Pantoja, and then look what happened. He had a good performance against Pantoja. Said he's the best boxer in the UFC. Gets chinned by Kai Kara France.
I was giving no support.
Oh, look how deeply offended Hank just got.
Because you're saying, like, you could go after me for that and be like, you picked Erceg in that fight against Pantoja. But then he had that interview, Hank. He had that interview. So, see, you got to swallow your pride. I didn't even know the interview existed. Okay?
I know.
The interview. It's stupid. It's childish. But anyway, I picked Elizeu Zaleski. He's a lock as well on the card.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. That's right. He's taking on that fucking can on short notice. Yeah, that's probably the most confident one.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Anyway, we got to end the stream, though, man. I got to get out of here.
All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Hey, we gave Larry a good laugh.
Yeah, good stuff. So, until we meet again, troopers and grinders, you have escaped the war zone for now. I can't believe you would associate me with that interview with Steve Erceg. He's going to be the flyweight GOAT. He's going back to #1 contender, and then it's him and Pantoja too, baby. They do nothing but fucking sequels.
Pantoja,
the great Pantoja, and Ilya Topuria. Yeah, he is going to be.